I wonder if Americans realize just how important Hollywood and video games are for the American way of life. I'm not even saying this as an exaggeration. And I think like a lot of Americans don't realize because you live in America. And so it's kind of like a fish being in the water. Like you're actually used to the water, you can't describe it. But someone from outside the water can describe it very well. Like here in Eastern Europe, there is almost unconditional love towards everything American. Like most Europeans absolutely adore everything about America. And so the question is why? Because most of us haven't been there. A lot of Europeans haven't actually spoken with Americans outside of the internet, but like face to face, right? Like very few of us have actually met Americans. Most of us can't even name the American states on a map. Even I have difficulty doing that. And yet you have like this unconditional love towards a country that you've never been. And the reason for it is video games and Hollywood. Unironically, like most of us here in the 90s have grown with Hollywood, have grown up with American music like rock, heavy metal, and then we also played American video games, and we interacted with many Americans online. Not face to face, but on the internet. And so you get this vision about America that Americans presented themselves. Like most Hollywood movies would present America as the land of the free, as a hallmark of what a nation state should look like. They would talk about democracy, liberty, freedom. And a lot of us here who suffered under the Iron Curtain would look towards that, and that would be like, you know what, that is our aspiration. Like maybe one day we can become like America. Again, maybe it's further from the truth. Maybe it was an ideal version. But the reality is that the people here unironically love the United States to the point where right now there's talks about the US wanting to buy Greenland and the European Union saying no. Most of us here are going like, no, you know what, fuck the European Union. Like, we like the European Union as long as they like America. But if it's a choice between America and the EU, of course we're going to choose Uncle Sam. This psyop, can you call it brainwashing? I don't know. It's specifically done due to the power of American entertainment, of kids growing up with American entertainment, which, by the way, wasn't even like trying to push for propaganda, wasn't even trying to suggest that America is amazing. Most of those movies were made in America with the purpose of entertaining Americans. But when people from outside the United States saw them, it was bewildering. And you know what? It wasn't just the fact that the movies would say that America is the land of the free. It was also like the level of wealth and power to be able to make those movies. Like no one in Europe would be able to make a RoboCop movie or an Alien movie or something like that. You know, like the level of technology, of wealth, of talent, of actors working together in order to create those masterpieces was baffling our minds. And unfortunately, in the last couple of decades, America has decided to self-sabotage itself when it comes to its soft power. And again, it's not just Hollywood, it's also comic books, video games, everything that America promotes to the world has been inflicted to a systemic and consistent self-sabotage. And it's going on many fronts. Some people call it wokeness, but it's got like multiple avenues, multiple vectors of attack, kind of like an octopus that has plagued the American entertainment industry. The first and the most obvious is race-based nepotism hiring practices. Like right now, Valve is the dominant company when it comes to a platform that sells video games. Everyone in the world knows it. It manages to spread far and wide. And again, it causes people to like the company. It's one of the most beloved companies. It's under constant attack. Too many straight white men. Straight white men are creating straight white men. So like the idea that people are replaceable cogs in a machine, that if you can just remove those straight white men and replace them with black women, the company would be the same. That's the mentality that is being promoted, that human beings are just like a resource, and you can just change people that work at the company. You can completely change the leadership, and it's still the same. It's like if we were to suggest that in America, we want more diversity, so we change the president with Chairman Z, or you take like some president from an African nation, you take the Zimbabwe president, and you replace him with Donald Trump, and it's going to be the exact same. Like nothing will change, right? Like he's still the same for the job, right? Like he's still a president of a nation. It's just he's the president of Zimbabwe. So if you take the president from Zimbabwe and replace it with Hillary Clinton, nothing changes, right? It's just like they're using this mentality for corporations. They're using this mentality for companies. And it actually reflects in the end product. By changing the people who make the product, you actually end up changing the product itself. Most of the hiring is based on ideology as well. Like they don't care about diversity in the sense that they want Candace Owens or they want the Hodge twins. Like, no, they would rather have a white guy that's an extreme liberal-oriented, Democrat-affiliated person with the ideology that America is systemically racist. And this is the second problem. Because all of these people that work at these companies, they're constantly going to corporate retreats where they are drilled into their head, yes, America is a systemically racist country. White people bad. In other words, don't unionize. Start hating each other. Let's push identity politics so you distrust yourselves. And you don't look up, and you don't unionize. And all of this is viewed in the end game product. By hiring people with this mindset that America is evil, you cannot create products that says, no, America is actually amazing. It's awesome. It's the land of the free. It's the land of the liberty, of democracy. No, it's now a nation filled with problems and woes, imperialistic tendencies. Which, by the way, maybe it is, but like to focus on that constantly. So the hiring process is completely fucked. The second problem that's fucked is the content itself. They have embraced an aesthetic of ugliness that I have never seen before in human history, in any culture whatsoever. Like before, in most avenues of art, was to create idealism, to create things that people should aspire to create beauty. It's like, let's make this as beautiful as possible. When the Greeks would sculpt a statue, it would be like, let's show the perfection of mankind, like something that doesn't exist but people can aspire to be. In America, they have an ideology of fat acceptance, of androgyny, of masculinity when it comes to femininity. And so you have like video games where the women look like men, they look androgynous. And all of this is ideological. If you say you don't like it, they will shame you. They will call you a coomer, they will call you literally whatever. But basically, this art style is enforced not by admiration, not by like going to people and showing them a picture of Abby from The Last of Us and saying like, isn't this beautiful? No, that's not how they spread it. It's like, this is Abby, and if you complain, you're a coomer, you're a pervert, you're a disgusting creep. Now watch Abby get fucked in the video game. And so the entire aesthetic is ugly. Now, if eye candy sells, this is an eyesore. If you have things called fan service, they are doing fan disservice on purpose in order to humiliate and shame men. This is what they're doing. They want heteronormative men to hate themselves so that they think they're monsters, so that they step out of the way and allow the activists to rule. This is the purpose of the ideology. It's not to sell the product. It's to humiliate. It's to shame. It's to make people submit. And finally, the themes themselves. Like, there are themes that they do not allow. Whenever they remake an old game, it's like GTA, let's remove the prostitutes because we don't have that anymore. Let's remove this. I'm playing Path of Exile 2, which is owned by China now. And in the second act, the faction that's supposed to be good is a nomad faction in the desert. And they have slaves. Like, they have, like, these humans that are carrying chains and they're pulling this massive truck throughout the desert. And it looks incredibly painful, and the slaves are skin and bones. And this is the good faction. And the rationale is that if you fight them, they give you a chance. Either live as a slave or kill you, because it's the desert. They don't have resources. And so if you're not contributing, they're going to kill you. So like the main character says, well, I guess given the alternative, I can't really judge them. And I'm thinking, this is a fictional universe. Obviously, like, it's not trying to say that having slaves is good or not. It's just like a philosophical question that's being posed to the player. But this would never happen in America. They would never allow the freedom of the artist to create a grimdark universe that's genuinely grimdark. In fact, a lot of journalists freak out every single time people do it, right? So, they're not hiring talent. They're hiring sheep. They're hiring drones. They're hiring people that won't try to unionize. They're hiring grifters to keep the system flowing. They have rejected beauty. They're rejecting human sexuality. Like, I'm not talking about pornography, but like, if you have a woman that is shapely and has a nice plump ass, they're rejecting that. They're rejecting femininity. In fact, they're not even saying male and female anymore. They're saying body type A, body type B. They're embracing ugliness. They're censoring the stories that can be told. They are ruining their entire entertainment industry. And so you end up with America wasting cash, wasting hundreds of millions of dollars, and getting absolutely BTFO'd by a couple of Russians just having a wholesome anime girl, which is just trying to create some psychological horror in an interesting story. And they're just getting ass fucked by independent people that don't even have a quarter of the resources that America is pumping into making entertainment. And so China is seeing this, and yeah, China is going to fund this. It's like, oh, America, you want to destroy your entertainment? You want to destroy your soft power? I mean, here's some money, keep doing it. Look, we're going to give you even more cash. No, keep at it. By the way, America does this to China as well. Like, America is also spending money to try to counter Chinese propaganda inside and outside China. They're also spending millions of dollars. But at the end of the day, the Chinese aren't biting all the time, and they're definitely not biting to this level. The reason America is doing this is because it was beneficial for the Democrat Party. It's because they viewed that by working with China in this regard, they're actually going to justify why they can maintain power a little bit longer. Yes, America is systemic racist. Vote for the Democrats so you can end racismus. Ending racismus is the greatest goal of the entire American nation. There is nothing on top of that. It goes even on top of the improvement of living conditions. It goes even better than the economy. It goes even better than geopolitics, than strategy. Like, ending racismus is like the number one reason why America exists on Earth. And of course, the definition of racismus gets to be watered down every single year. To the point if even someone somewhere has a racist thought, America is still systemically racist. If you have an empty room, that room is racist because you don't have an anti-racist present in the room. I'm not kidding, like, that's their academic literature. And so when you destroy your industry like that, China is coming in and they're going to provide entertainment. They're the ones that are going to make sure that your kids are going to grow up with Chinese video games. And they're going to show the waifu, the wishy-cushy girl, much to the horror and the dismay of the moral bodies that have absolutely no power against the Chat CCP. The Chat CCP is going to look at all these Christians on Twitter freaking out about the anime girls and trying to carbon date the anime girls, and they're going to be like, and you're going to do what? Going to do what? The CCP will sell the shit probably for free. And your kids are going to play them. Why? Because you're not creating alternatives. Finger wagging, complaining doesn't do anything. Create an alternative. Create something better that people can enjoy. This is why you get Gargura singing at the baseball stadium. There should be Mickey Mouse out there. It should have been a famous Hollywood actor. Instead, you're getting Gargura, which is still American, by the way, but it's a VTuber. It's not part of the American culture. It's not Superman. It's not Batman. It's Gargura. And I think a lot of people understand that. And so America has to take the entertainment seriously. I don't think they will, to be honest. I don't think they even know how, at least for another generation. You need a complete eradication of the current mindset and a full shift 180. Probably the companies that are operating today won't even be able to do it. Probably you'll have all these companies like Ubisoft, Blizzard, managing to collapse, and then new companies forming from indie games, and maybe those will be able to compete. But the way things are now, China is dominating the entertainment industry when it comes to gaming. We got Path of Exile 2, Wukong, so many other games that are coming from China, and games that are announced next year. And I can sit here all day, and I can bitch, and I can complain, and I can say, wow, Path of Exile is nasty. Yeah, the Marvel game that's on Steam right now. Oh, horrible, don't buy it. You're supporting China. You're supporting Mao Zedong. I can do this nonstop. No one will listen to me. No one will care. You know why? Because it's actually a good product. It does do what it's meant to do. Provide entertainment. And worst off, there's no alternative. Like, during the console wars, if you didn't like Xbox, there was an alternative. Like, why are you buying an Xbox? Why aren't you buying a PlayStation? Even with smartphones, it's like, why are you buying an Apple? Buy a Samsung. There are alternatives. There's no alternatives when it comes to video games. There's nothing that the West is doing that can even remotely rival what's coming from Asia right now. And the problem is that wasn't the case. Before, it was the other way around. Nothing could rival Blizzard. Nothing. Nothing can rival Steam. Like, that's the only thing that the West still has right now, Steam. And it's under constant attack. From the senators, from the lawmakers, from the ADL, from the journalists. Everyone is attacking Steam. I hope that not just America, but the West manages to pull itself together, because soft power is extremely important. If you want to know how important soft power is, notice how much weebs love Japan. And ask yourself how many weebs actually spoke with Japanese people. How many weebs actually been to Japan. But if a politician would talk shit about the Japanese, I guarantee to you that the weebs would defend Japan. And they would side against the politician. Because anime. Because they like anime. They find it wholesome. And so, America's response was to try and seize Japanese entertainment. It's a process that's happening right now, and you notice that anime is becoming more and more sanitized. The female characters have less fan service. There's less violence that's over the top and grotesque. There's less Japanese themes. The localizers are doing their best in order to try to change the script to be more inclusive. There's more diversity in anime. Basically, anime is kind of where American entertainment used to be in 2018. And Japan has very few choices but to work with American companies that censor now. They can't sell on their own platforms because Visa and MasterCard are cracking down heavily. Like, they even crack down on a dating website. It's ridiculous. But the idea is, like, if you're making an anime and you want to sell it to the West, you got to work with Netflix. You got to work with Disney Plus. You got to work with an American company which will censor your anime. So that's their response. I don't think it will work with China, though. It's going to be interesting. So it seems that one of the solutions is to put TenCent on a list that brands it as a Chinese military company, because they realize, yes, it is soft power, yes, it is dangerous, and this is their answer. I don't think it's enough. I think their answer should be to create better alternatives. And until they manage to do so, I mean, look at even this drawing, right? Like, this is from League of Legends. And watch the Netflix adaptation of League of Legends and its art style. And so, anyway, let me know what you guys think, and hopefully things will change. Most likely not next year, but hopefully 2 years from now, because To make a new video game, it usually takes a 4-year cycle. As for Hollywood, I don't even know where to begin. Like, there is absolutely no movie coming out that I'm interested in seeing. There's a couple of South Korean films that I want to see, but unfortunately, no American things. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys in the comment section. Take care.